Welcome. Successful marketing is no accident. It requires a lot of time and effort so that you hit the right target market. In today's episode, we will cover the importance of defining your target audience or a market, and we'll look into understanding your target audience, current perceptions of your brand, understanding your offer, how it benefits your target audience, and understanding where your competition is positioning it yourself. And lastly, that it's perfectly okay to be picky in identifying your clients. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Beyond the Logo.
Going live on video makes you visible, and so the next time someone needs goods or products or a service, they're more likely to go to someone they've come to know, like, and trust. So go live on video and get people to know, like, and trust you.
If you've just joined us, then welcome to the Beyond the Logo show with Nancy and Bridgetti. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be covering the importance of knowing and defining your target audience. We will discuss how to understand your target audience, current perceptions of your brand, understanding what your offer is to your audience, and what are the benefits to them. We'll also discuss understanding how you need to know where your competition is positioning themselves and how you can be different. And then lastly, we'll look at being okay with being picky when you are identifying your clients. And so if you're not following us yet on social media, please do that. It means that if you follow us, you'll get a notification and you'll know next time when we are going live. So a special warm welcome, whether you're watching us over on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, over on LinkedIn, and also over on Amazon Live. A very, very warm welcome to all of you. So on this show, we talk about practical advice for marketing and best practices for business. If it's your first time watching us, please feel free to let us know in the comments and we'd be happy to give you a shout out. Now, as always, we always start the show off with giving you a few tips with how you can level up your marketing, because these days a lot of marketing is taking place online. And so there's a few things that you need to be cognizant of if you are doing online marketing. So one of the things that we recommend is having a good camera. And sometimes it's not just about the camera. It could be simple little things such as just, I love the Logitech range of cameras. I've got a couple of them. I'm currently, the one you're seeing me on is the Logitech Brio, which I highly recommend. So there's different choices. A simple thing that you can do that people sometimes forget is cleaning the lens of your webcam. As simple as that can make all the difference. And then also, lighting is key. Very often it's not that you need to upgrade your webcam. It's just that you may need to invest in additional lighting. But a big part of your online marketing is that people can hear you clearly. Everybody loves a good image, but people need to hear you clearly. So I'm using the Samsung condenser microphone, as you can see here, but there are great other mobile solutions, such as the iRig, the lapel microphones. My favorite lapel microphone is the Rode Lavalier. These things are really, really inexpensive, but they can make a huge difference when you are doing online marketing. And then the other thing you don't want to forget is to avoid sound feedback. You want to invest in um, earbuds of any kind. These are fantastic. Any kind of, take your pick. Literally, there are hundreds of earbuds that you can choose. Find something that's comfortable for you, but it's going to make a huge, huge difference. So those are just a few. And of course, sometimes it's part of your brand to have an over-ear one. So use whatever works for your particular brand. And then again, if you are shooting some footage from your mobile phone, just a quick tip on that. Do make sure that you don't ever hold your phone in your hand if you're shooting mobile footage. People love behind the scenes. So give them that. It's a great way to pull your audience in. If you show the human side of your business, and people like to know what's going on behind the scenes. So use a tripod. Again, there are so many different kinds of tripods and things that you can use. Literally take your pick, but do use a tripod. So on with the show today, we're going to be talking about how you can choose your target market in this process of marketing. And so I want to invite my co-host to come and join me. She's a phenomenal woman. Nancy Lockhart is the founder of Lockhart Marketing. She's also a best-selling author, and she's worked with some of the most iconic brands. She's worked with Target, with Kaiser Permanente, with Medtronic, and she's been in this for over 30 years, and she leverages her knowledge and expertise to help successful men and women rebrand their business and become more profitable, successful, and purpose-driven. Nancy is also the executive advisor for the University of California, Santa Barbara Customer Experience Program. And with that, Nancy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bridgetti. Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Always, always, always great to talk to you. And I can't wait to dive into our topic. And I want to just give a shout out to Computer Pat over on Amazon Live. Great to see you, my friend. So we're going to dive into choosing a target market. Now, it's Black Friday coming up, and everybody's talking about jumping on how they can market their products and services, but not just for this Black Friday, for any of the other marketing campaigns that you may embark on. You want to see how you can identify your audience. Nancy, shall we just open up with why that is such an important thing in marketing?
Absolutely. That would be wonderful. We on the show, we talk about your target market all the time. And I thought today would be really great for us to dive into it a little deeper, into understanding how you can identify your target market. And I want to emphasize that not only is this for, a B2C audience, but also a B2B audience as well. So understanding, who your clients are and kind of how they behave and how they react, and also the problems that they need solving in your products and services that can help them solve some of their issues. So I'm excited about the topic today, and I hope it'll be a nice help for folks as they're going into this big shopping season that we're embarking on, and also planning for 23. So marketing plans for 23, which is hard to believe, right? That we're we're on the edge of 24.
I just can't believe that we're already talking about 2023, but here we are. It's the end. I mean, I can't wrap my mind around it. It's the end of November 2022. Oh my gosh. And the holiday season is just right upon us. So anyway, let's just dive into our topic today, because I think we've got some great tips for everyone, shall we?
Absolutely. So to understand, we talked a little bit about this, really understanding who your target audience is, and defining the target audience is really I tend to find individuals or businesses that have similar needs that your business can actually solve for them. And what we want to do is to make sure that whatever your business is, that you're targeting the right people and that you're making that connection from, what you're passionate about offering in your business and also what is the needs that will fulfill for your target audience, therefore maximizing your ability to invest your marketing dollars most effectively. So I did there's a little bit about understanding your market and then understanding why it's important, which is on the next slide. So like I said, you ultimately want to maximize your marketing dollars. And instead of just throwing, not that anyone would just throw something up on social media or invest in something without really thinking about who they're talking to, you want to make sure that your message is really clear and really defined so that you are getting the best return on your marketing dollar. So the first part of doing this is understanding demographics, and that's probably really, really basic, and probably most people would be like, of course we want to understand who our audience is by looking at demographics. But this is a nice reminder for you, and whether it's B2B or B2C, the type of organization, if you're thinking about this by age, geography, gender, income level, marital status, occupation, and background, seems very tailored to a B2C audience. But when you think about an organization, if you're going B2B, how long have they been in business? Where are they actually doing their business and conducting business? You can skip probably gender, but it might be important to understand what that business, also who they cater to as well, what type of revenue that they're generating, and also kind of how their business is set up. So when we talk about family status, you may be talking about a sole proprietor or a larger organization. So understanding that as well, on the type of businesses that they're doing, the type of marketing that they're doing, and also understanding who their target audience is as well. So this can be expanded across B2B and B2C as well.
So there's a lot to consider here, and just to sort of give a quick summary again. So it's age, where people live, their gender, their income level, their marital status, their occupation, and their ethnic background. There's a lot of things, and I think it's easy to sort of to miss one or two of those, but every single aspect has got a reason why it's important that you consider them. So, thanks very much for highlighting that. And just a huge shout out to Corinda, who's also watching us over on Facebook. Hello, Corinda, and welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Welcome. So our next step in understanding our audience is really to define the psychographics. And this is where it gets a little less, it's a little bit softer, but it's important because this is where you start to make the emotional connections with your audience. So understanding a little bit about their personality, what their values are, what their attitude are, what hobbies they have, the lifestyle that they lead, the media use that they have, and other activities that they participate in. And if you think about this, this is where you actually can start to really hone in on your targeting. Because if you think about different social media channels, if there's active lifestyle, or someone who really loves books, or they're into cooking, or anything along those lines that helps you to really narrow and focus. And the more narrow and focused that you're communicating, the channel that you're communicating in, is going to help you to get direct laser focus right to the people that you want to talk to. So this is going to be really interesting. We're going to show you an example of, because sometimes you have to kind of create a story or persona around your target audience, and doing that helps you to think about putting yourself in their shoes. We'll go into that a little bit more, but these are really important to keep in mind, as well as with the general demographics that you want to collect for your audience.
Absolutely, and those are great demographics to consider. Nancy, your internet connection seems to be really unstable, and I'm wondering if I could ask you to just refresh your browser
Sure.
Just come back in and out, and possibly that might stabilize it.
Okay, here we go.
See you in a moment.
Okay.
So anyone watching, welcome. You are watching Beyond the Logo with myself, Bridgetti, Banda, and Nancy Lockhart. And we do the show and we talk about marketing. And we're just going through how to choose your target audience. And it looks like Nancy is back, and it looks like her connection is so much better.
Oh, good.
Nancy,
I'm so sorry about that. Might be the winds in Southern California.
have you got bad weather going on there?
Well, it's windy. It's very windy. So this is sometimes that can mess with the internet connection. So I apologize to our audience and to you. Hopefully, we'll be able to minimize any disruption for the rest of the show.
It's breaking up just a little bit, but I can hear you. And I think if what I'll just kind of do is just try and repeat some of the things if anything is missed. But so we've just gone through some of the psychographics that you need to consider in your marketing campaign. And Shamika Lucas over on Amazon Live, who's just followed our show. Shamika, thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. So now there are 3 sort of audience behaviors that that you mentioned we should consider.
Correct. So once you collect some of the facts, what you want to do is kind of get into their shoes and understand what are the benefits that they're looking for. How ready are they to purchase your product or service so you can understand they are in the funnel? And then how loyal are they, or potentially loyal could they be if you're presenting a really great solution to their problems, I would say, their situation, so that you can create that loyalty in your mind with them. So like I alluded to before, hopefully you guys heard, is when you gather all these facts and you can start to put together what's called persona. And this is a sample roadmap of a potential client for a fresh food delivery service. So you have what's called like the millennial Molly is what I named her. And you can have fun with this, but this really goes into all of those demographics, but also answering what are the needs and what are the problems or the situations where someone who wants to eat healthy, doesn't have a lot of time, is involved in a lot of different things, is very active. How can your product or service match the needs and the wants that this person might have, as well as understanding what channels they're paying attention to, whether they're in social media or if they're watching cable TV or they're reading newspapers, that type of thing. If you start to lay it out, and there's a lot of information here, but it kind of gets you to the point of this isn't a real person, this is a made-up person, but has a lot of the needs and desires, and also has a place for you to match your product with. So then you can start to go, okay, let's talk about the things in the creative that we're developing, not only the media channels, but we can make those connections so that we're effectively hitting their interest points. So this is a great tool when you take all that information to be able to bring it together, and lay it out. Now you can also have more than one persona, and it depends on the the types of say you're a food delivery service and maybe you're doing something catering for parties, or you're doing something for individuals. You would create different personas for those different products that you have, for the different needs that you're serving your audience with. So you're not locked into one. You certainly can create as many as you feel is going to help you to be effective and maximize your marketing dollars.
So this is kind of like knowing your client more intimately. From what I'm seeing, is sort of beyond the sort of like demographics of the person. This is getting to know them a little bit better, a little bit more intimately, so that you can make smarter decisions and choices around your branding, specifically for that type of person.
Correct. And it really does help you shape your message, like to understand what do I need to say to this person that's going to raise their interest level in our products or service. So to say, you can eat healthy. You don't have to, spend a lot of time at the grocery store. You don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. We can deliver this directly to you. We understand you're busy, you're active, you want to be healthy. Those types of things in this particular example of this persona. So we start to lay it out. It starts to make a lot of sense about how to communicate better to that particular target market that is going to be super interested in what you have to offer. So it starts to, it kind of basically you lay it out and it becomes like a nice roadmap for you. Like, who do I want to target?
Sure, this takes a huge amount of market research, to be able to really, really understand the kind of person. And because there's so many different personas, and you've just used one here, so you've got to do a huge amount of research to make sure that you hit the nail on the head, so to speak, and that you don't miss your objectives.
Right. And Bridgetti, you bring up a really good point. And people think of market research and they think of spending a huge amount of dollars. There's so many free resources that are credible resources. Google Trends. You can just go into Google, type Google Trends. That will give you some idea of where your target market, they're doing, what they're interested in. You can type in Google Trends and put like a demographic in there. And there's also trendwatching.com. So you can really leverage some free resources that are available out there without spending a lot of money.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, because a lot of people always think, well, market research is going to be very, very intensive. And especially if you're a small company or a medium-sized business, and you want to do some market research so that you can hit the right target, those are great free resources that you can, if you don't have a large marketing department where people can do the actual research for you. So those are great mentions. Thank you.
Yeah, I just remembered another one, which is a little bit of a workaround. But if you were to go into social media like LinkedIn or Facebook, and you were going to do some, like, if you were going in to purchase an ad, I'm not saying you would, but as you start to define your market, you get to see how large that marketplace is as well. So you can start, you can kind of use some workaround tips to say how much opportunity in this particular geography for this age, or, what they read, what they do. When you look at that, then you can see what your potential is. You can decide to purchase or not, but it's a free way to get information about your market size as well. So try that as well.
Very good tip, because the details are there, and it's so easy to break it down once you've got it. So very good point. Go check out Facebook ads and see how it's done there if you haven't dived into Facebook ads yet. But some excellent tips there for us for sure.
So the next point is that you really want to understand who you're going up against. Who is your competition? What are the products and services that they offer, and who are they targeting? And then, the current customers, really understand how you can differentiate yourself. Once again, that will help to build your message, your credibility, to tap right into the people that you're trying to do, your unique value proposition for your product or service or marketing, and create that differentiation against your competition. The more you know, the more power you have, the more effective you can be in your marketing and maximizing your marketing dollars. So don't be afraid to look at the competition. And if you think you're really going head to head with someone that's doing something very similar, create differentiation, create something, a hook, a promotion, something that will create some distinction for you in your marketplace, and then start to build that loyalty, that customer base more effectively. But being aware is power.
Oh, absolutely. But one of my favorite examples of this, Nancy, is hair salons. Nobody ever says I'm not gonna become a stylist because there's tons of hair salons. Nobody says that.
Right.
Because each stylist has got a unique offering, a unique personality that attracts them to their clientele.
It's a great
So
point.
never be afraid of the competition, because your brand can bring a uniqueness that's going to hit it on point for your specific target market, you know. So never shy away, never say, well, there's too much competition already, there's no space. There's always space for you if you know how to differentiate yourself from what's there. So I think that's an excellent point there on knowing how to differentiate yourself.
Yes, and this is going to be a final note on your service. We talked a lot about talking about your target audience, but this is a little bit of an exercise that I would invite people to try. So when you do your features and benefits of your product and you know who your target audience is, I want you to go list, well, okay, a feature would be, you know, we have easy access, you know, we're close by demographic. But the benefit would be, oh, I don't have to spend extra time driving. I can, you know, get in and out. If it's a hair salon, I can, you know, make an appointment that's nearby my home, so I can spend more time in the salon pampering myself. And then go even deeper. So what does that mean? That means I'm investing in me. I'm making sure that I take the time for me, that I feel good about me in the salon example. But really try to push to go deeper and deeper into what those emotional benefits are, because that's where you're going to make really effective connection with your target audience. And once you kind of push yourself into what is ultimately going to make someone really joyful, happy, solve their problems, make their lives easier. And again, B2B or B2C, if you can nail that, then you've got a loyal customer base. So it's really important to try to go through that exercise. It's simple, but not a lot of people do it. So that is a marketing edge that you can definitely leverage.
You know, something else, as I'm listening to you, something that comes to mind for me is learning how to sell without being salesy. Because I think, you know, sometimes you're so hung up on the features. You know, my product can do this, it can do that. You know, my mouse does that. My mouse is white, it can click there and it can scroll there. And, you know, you're just talking about all the features. Nobody really cares, really. But if you can tell them how it will benefit them, you know, if you're doing that, it's, you know, it's ergonomic. It's not going to give you, you know, pain in your joints. You know, your fingers are out that way. It's easier to scroll. You know, you're not going to get rheumatoid arthritis in your fingers because, you know, so focusing not just on the features but also the benefits is what's going to sell it. Because, you know, if people can see how it's going to make their life better, easier, that is what you want to focus on, not so much just the actual features. It's finding a fine balance between the two. So that to me is also excellent points.
Yeah, and just an example of that, and I usually show examples, but Apple, love Apple, but their whole idea, the concept of think differently has nothing to do with the features of the Apple products. It's all of an attitude and an emotional connection that people who want to buy their products and services think how loyal they are because they've kind of challenged the status quo and challenge people to think differently, and people that want to push their creativity and push the boundaries are thinking differently. So that's a great example of really a very deep emotional connection with your audience to differentiate yourself beyond the features that you have.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think of a brand like Apple or Nike, everybody wants to identify with that brand because there is such an emotional connection between the two, and that's kind of what you want to aim for in your marketing.
Right. Yep, just do it for Nike. Yep.
I love that.
Just do it. Nothing to do with shoes. Just do it.
Yeah.
But now this is a fun little a little freebie I have on my website, but I thought it would be fun to bring it up here on the show. You can have a great defined target market, but sometimes there are just particular clients that you do not want to do business with. And I would recommend that you stay away from them because they're going to give you more anxiety, more pain, more frustration than you need. So I've just identified a few of them, and I'll go quickly through them. The expert. This is a client that thinks they already know what you're offering and thinks they know how to do it better than you. And therefore, it's like, go ahead and do it if that's the case. There is the indecisive, someone who can't tell you what they want or need from your product or service, or they're not sure how to use you or your services effectively. There's the freebie hog. If you're giving away samples and inviting people to your website and they can download free information and that's all they do, well, you're wasting a lot of your time and dollars on that. The confused, again, very similar to the indecisive, but someone who's really confused about what they want or need and are engaging you and expecting you to figure that out for them. The next one is the ghost, someone who hires you and does not give you complete, direction or ask what they want, or how they can best benefit from your products and services. And then the wolf crier is someone who is constantly saying this isn't good enough, this isn't done enough, but is not giving you, again, the information you need, and is kind of blaming you for what's going on without having an effective communication. The penny pincher, someone who doesn't value what your products and services are, trying to constantly undercut you. Probably not a client that you want to engage with. You want someone who understands the value that you're bringing to them. The flawed feedback provider, once again, kind of like the confused or the ghost, but is giving you wrong direction and is not setting you up for success or for your product to effectively benefit the client that you have. And then finally, there's the workaholic. And this is, if you have a product or service and they're constantly tapping into you, like they expect you to be 24/7 available for them. And this might be more in line with like a consulting business. But if you have a product or service, a technology or a product that people don't understand and they expect you to be able at their disposal all the time, that can be someone that you probably want to avoid. So these are a little bit fun to kind of take a look at and chuckle about. But it is also really important that you're using your time wisely and you're serving the people that value what you have to offer. And it's really important for you to make sure that you're not bending over backwards all the time to please someone that's not going to get the maximum value from your product or service. So
absolutely. I think, just knowing that not everyone is for you and not everyone has to be for you. That's okay. There's enough of them, there's enough people in the play. The playpen is big enough. That's the question I'm looking for. The playpen is large enough.
I love that. I love that. So just the key takeaways for today is to really understand your target audience, understand the needs you fulfill with your brand, your product or service, and their current perceptions of you and where you can improve and inform them, make it clearer for them to understand what your offering is. Again, like I said, know how your offer benefits your target market, and so that you can communicate that effectively. And then know what your competition is doing and be smart about how to differentiate yourself. Knowledge is power, and the more you understand, the better you are going to be, the more effective you're going to be with your marketing and maximize your marketing investment. And then finally, giving yourself permission to choose your clients. You're in business because you have a passion and you have a drive to do what you do to serve the target audience that you serve. So don't waste your time with a client or, a customer that's going to kind of suck away your passion for what you're offering. So be picky. It's okay. And, just be proud of what you're doing, what you're offering, the products and services that you're doing, and what you do to make people's lives better. So.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I think, for me, the one big takeaway from this episode on identifying your target market or your target audience is really that knowledge is power. Because
Yeah.
almost every aspect of the things that we went through today is based on knowing who your audience is, knowing your product well, knowing your competition,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to work around, using that knowledge effectively to set yourself apart from your competition and to hit your, find the right audience. Again, you mentioned, there's some subsectors of a market that that's not for you, that's not for your
Correct.
brand, and that's okay. So as long
Right.
as you're cognizant of all those different areas, you are bound to hit your target market just right based on the knowledge. And then the other thing that was a big takeaway for me was that your market research doesn't have to cost you a bunch of money, especially if you're a small business, just an entrepreneur or a medium-sized business. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Were a lot of free tools that you mentioned that people can use to identify who their target market and their audience is. And I think we mentioned go and check out and see how Facebook ads do it, because that'll give you some tips of the kind of things that you need to include. Nancy, I think this was awesome. Thank you for all those tips in choosing our target market and audience for your products. And again, Black Friday is just around the corner, so you want to make sure you hit the nail on the head. But it's not just Black Friday. It's the holiday season is upon us. It's Cyber Monday. There's a
Right.
bunch of holidays over the next while. And so if you are still out there on the fringes and you haven't done it yet, it's never too late to change. Never too late.
Nope.
You can
Nope.
always adapt to,
It's
every day is a new day to start over in your, if your marketing campaign isn't working for you, don't be afraid of change.
Absolutely. And you're planning for next year as well. So as you start budgeting and thinking about that, it is really important to think about who your target audience is and get to know them, take the time. So it's an investment in your time as well to spend some time with researching this, but it definitely pays off.
Absolutely. And, if you get one campaign wrong, see it as an opportunity to learn, because, you can gather data around that campaign. If it hasn't worked for you, learn from it, grow from it, and do the next one better. It's a process.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Absolutely great advice.
Nancy, thank you so much. A huge big shout out to our audience. Again, if you're watching us over on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Amazon Live, wherever you are watching us, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you on the next episode of Beyond the Logo for some marketing tips and advice that you can implement today. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.
Going live on video makes you visible, and so the next time someone needs goods or products or a service, they're more likely to go to someone they've come to know, like, and trust. So go live on video and get people to know, like, and trust you.